"Get out of here, or I'll break your legs and make you run," I shouted when I caught my mother-in-law stealing my stash. My unemployed husband thought I was joking, but I surprised them both. Before we start, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks and enjoy listening. Marina Belikova never thought the scariest thing she could find at home would be not a spider in the bathroom, but someone else's toothbrush on her shelf. Standing in the doorway with her suitcase after a 2-week vacation in Crimea, she stared at a pink toothbrush sitting next to her yellow one. That definitely wasn't hers. Konstantin came out of the kitchen, smiling, drying his hands on a towel. "Marinka, finally home. How was the trip? Got a nice tan?" She silently pointed at the toothbrush. "What's this?" Her husband looked where she was pointing and shrugged. "Oh, that's Mom's. She stayed here a couple of nights while you were away. You know she worries when she's alone." Marina frowned. Her mother-in-law, Alla Semyonovna, lived in her own 2-room apartment in another part of town. She never stayed at their place without a good reason. Why would she stay here? She has everything at home. She said she was bored being alone. The TV broke, so she came here. "I couldn't say no to Mom," Konstantin explained. Marina walked into the living room and froze. The couch had been moved. Before, it faced the window. Now it faced the TV. The coffee table was closer to the armchair. "Kostya, why is the furniture moved?" "What furniture?" He followed her gaze. "The couch. Mom moved it while cleaning. She said it's easier to vacuum that way." In the fridge, Marina found food she definitely hadn't bought before leaving. Expensive cheese she never picked, yogurts with strange flavors, and sausages of a brand she disliked. "Kostya, where did all this come from?" "Mom brought it. She wanted the fridge to have something when you got back." "She cares about us," he said. Marina opened the freezer. There were dumplings in unfamiliar packaging and ice cream she hated. She forgot what ice cream I like. "You're being picky," Konstantin laughed. She tried. "If you don't like it, throw it away." That evening, while unpacking, Marina noticed her bed sheets smelled like a new detergent. She had been using the same one for years, but this one had a strong, floral scent. "Kostya, what detergent did Mom use?" she asked. "No idea. Probably her own. But why did she wash our sheets?" "Marina, what is this, an interrogation?" "She just wanted to help, washed and changed them."
"It's fine," he said.
But nothing in the closet felt right. Her blouses weren't in the order she left them. Her makeup on the vanity was arranged differently. And in the dresser drawer, her socks were stacked neatly, while she always folded them messy. The next morning, as she saw her husband off to work, Marina ran into their neighbor, Vera Ivanovna, in the stairwell. "Oh, Marina, welcome back. How was your vacation?" "Thanks. It was good. How's everything here?" "Quiet mostly. Only your mother visited a lot, almost every day." Marina stopped. "Every day?"
"Yes."
She'd come in the morning, leave in the evening, sometimes stay overnight. Very active, always carrying something, bags or packages. "And Kostya was home?" "No, he's at work. But the day before yesterday, I saw her with a man I didn't recognize, maybe around 40. They were carrying boxes into your apartment." Marina's heart raced. "Boxes? What boxes?" "Big cardboard ones, heavy. The man helped her carry them. I thought maybe they bought some furniture." "And Kostya was home?" "No, I didn't see him for 3 days. He must have been busy at work." That evening, Marina carefully asked her husband, "Kostya, did Mom bring anything here? Furniture or other stuff?" "No, nothing special. Just groceries." "Why?" "She said she saw boxes being carried into our apartment by your mom and a stranger." Konstantin tensed. "What boxes?" "That's nonsense. The neighbor is old. Maybe she saw wrong. Mom didn't bring anyone. No boxes." "Why are you so defensive?" Marina asked. "I'm not. I'm just tired of your suspicions. You just got back and already accusing everyone," he said. But Marina knew he was lying. 12 years of marriage had taught her to read his expressions. When Konstantin lied, he blinked more than usual and avoided eye contact. On the third day after returning, Marina decided to organize her bag. While taking out documents from the inner pocket, she felt a piece of paper that shouldn't have been there. Unfolding it, she saw an address written in someone else's handwriting.
Oh.
Lenina, House 23. Golden Key Pawn Shop. The note was written in blue pen on a torn piece of notebook paper. The handwriting was round and clearly female. Marina was sure she hadn't written anything like this and had never been to that pawn shop. Someone had been digging through her bag and left the note. Whether it was by accident or on purpose didn't matter. What mattered was that someone else had touched her personal things. Her heart started racing. She remembered her grandmother's ring, a small, old gold ring with a tiny emerald kept in the jewelry box on her vanity. It was her only memory of her grandmother, a precious family heirloom. Her hands shook as she opened the box. Earrings were there. The chain was there. The bracelet was there. But the ring was gone. She emptied the whole box, checked every compartment. The ring wasn't there. "Kostya," she shouted. Her husband ran in from the kitchen, looking worried. "What happened? Where's my ring?" "My grandmother's ring." "What ring?" "Don't pretend." "The gold one with the emerald. It was always in this box." Konstantin came over and looked in the box. "I don't know. Maybe you moved it somewhere before the trip?" "I didn't move it anywhere. It was right here. I remember exactly. Marish, think.
Who could have taken it?
Only you, and I live here. And your mom." Marina showed him the note with the pawn shop address. "Explain this. How did this get in my bag?" Konstantin took the paper, read it, and shrugged. "No idea. Maybe you wrote it and forgot? It's not my handwriting. Could have been from work or picked up on the bus." "Kostya, someone was in our apartment. They went through my things and stole the ring. And they left a note with the pawn shop address. Doesn't that seem strange to you?" "Your behavior seems strange," her husband snapped. "You just got back from vacation and already causing trouble. Mom tried to help, cleaning, cooking, and you're accusing her of stealing." "I'm not accusing anyone. I just want to know where the ring went." "You probably lost it somewhere or forgot it on the trip." "I didn't take it on the trip. It always stays at home." Konstantin shrugged and left the room, muttering something about women's logic. Marina sat on the bed, trying to organize her thoughts. The facts painted a worrying picture. Furniture had been moved. There were strange groceries in the kitchen, signs that someone had been in the house. The neighbor had seen her mother-in-law with an unknown man carrying boxes into their apartment. And Konstantin denied everything. The note with the pawnshop address was in her bag. Her grandmother's ring was gone. But what if her mother-in-law really had taken something? What if she pawned the ring?
But why?
Alice Semyonovna had a decent pension and her own apartment. She didn't seem to need money. Although, over the past year, she often complained about her health, saying medicines were expensive and doctors kept asking for extra tests. Maybe she really did need money. But even so, why steal? She could have just asked. Marina never refused her mother-in-law's requests for help. And Kostya? Why was he so nervous when she asked questions? Why did he attack her instead of helping figure things out? Marina went to the window and looked out at the yard. A normal scene, kids playing, grandmothers sitting on benches, dog owners walking their pets. Everything was the same, but somehow it felt like the world had changed. The feeling of danger she had when she saw the stranger's toothbrush didn't go away. If anything, it grew stronger by the hour. Someone had invaded her personal space, rifled through her things, moved furniture, and changed her home's familiar order. And this person had apparently stolen the only truly valuable item in the house. The worst part? Her husband either didn't know or was covering for the thief. And if he was covering, why? Her thoughts were tangled. Her heart raced. For the first time in 12 years of marriage, Marina felt like she was living with a stranger, a person who could lie to her face and protect someone who was robbing her. That evening, after Konstantin went to see his friends, Marina carefully searched the whole apartment. She checked every drawer, every shelf, looked behind furniture, and even under the bed. She was looking for either the ring or any other evidence that someone had been there. In the storage closet, behind old boxes, she found an empty bottle of expensive brandy. They had never bought such alcohol. It was too pricey for their budget. Someone had been drinking brandy in their apartment while she was away. In the trash under the kitchen sink, she found a wrapper from a fancy chocolate, also not theirs. Each small detail could be explained alone. But together, they painted a picture of someone staying in their apartment for a long time, comfortably, with expensive habits, acting as if it were their own home. That night, Marina couldn't sleep. She lay next to her peacefully snoring husband, thinking that she no longer felt safe in her own home. The next morning, seeing Konstantin off to work, she asked, "Kostya, are you sure you don't know who else could have been in our apartment besides your mom?" "Marina, how many times?" "No one was here. Mom came, cleaned, cooked. What about the brandy?" "What brandy?" "The empty bottle in the storage closet." "Hennessy. We never bought it." Konstantin froze for a second, but quickly recovered.
Oh, that?
"Mom brought it. She had a birthday recently, got it as a gift, and wanted to celebrate with me." "Your mom doesn't drink brandy." "She doesn't drink alcohol at all." "Well, maybe she bought it for guests." "I don't know, I didn't ask," Konstantin replied.
Again, a lie.
Marina felt it in every part of her being. After her husband left, she took the note with the pawnshop address and went there. She had to check her suspicions. The Golden Key pawnshop was in an old building in the city center. An elderly man behind the counter listened indifferently as she described the ring. "Gold with an emerald." "Yes, we had that. It was brought in the day before yesterday." Marina's heart skipped a beat. Who brought it? A woman, around 50. She showed her ID. Everything was proper. "Can you describe her?" "Average height, dark short hair, glasses." She said the ring was inherited and she needed money urgently. The description matched Alla Semyonovna. "Can the ring be bought back?" "Of course." "Do you have the receipt?" "No, I didn't pawn it. A relative did." "Then you need her power of attorney, or she has to come herself." Marina left the pawn shop with a heavy heart. Her suspicions were confirmed. Her mother-in-law had indeed pawned her ring. That meant everything else was true too. Alla Semyonovna had been rummaging through their apartment, moving things, and maybe taking other items. The main question remained, did Konstantin know? And if he did, why was he covering for his mother? For the first time in many years, Marina felt like a stranger in her own family, as if a secret plot was unfolding against her, and she was only beginning to see its scope. The next day, Marina made a decision that, just a week ago, would have seemed absurd. She would follow her mother-in-law. She took a day off from work, claiming she wasn't feeling well, and spent the morning watching from the window, waiting for Alla Semyonovna to appear. At 11 a.m., the familiar figure in a dark coat appeared in the yard. Marina quickly put on a jacket and went down to the first floor, keeping her distance. Alla Semyonovna walked confidently, clearly knowing where she was going. Marina followed, hiding behind corners and parked cars. She felt like a character in a detective novel, but the situation was too serious for amusement. Alla Semyonovna reached the bus stop and got on. Marina managed to slip in through the back door. She stayed away from her mother-in-law, watching the back of her head and wondering what was going through her mind. The bus stopped in the city center. Alla Semyonovna got off and walked to a small office building. A sign read, "City Spaces Real Estate Agency." Marina's heart froze. Why would her mother-in-law need a real estate agency? She waited a few minutes and went inside too. On the first floor was a cafe, with glass walls giving a clear view of the agency office. Marina ordered coffee and sat at a table with a good view. Alla Semyonovna sat at a table across from a young man in a suit, clearly a realtor. Some documents lay on the table, which she studied carefully. The realtor spoke, gesturing actively. Half an hour later, another man joined them, around 50, wearing expensive clothes, the same man the neighbor had seen. Marina recognized him from Vera Ivanovna's description. The three of them talked animatedly. Alla Semyonovna pulled papers from her bag and showed them to the men. The realtor took notes in his notebook. Marina couldn't hear the conversation, but their body language said a lot. Her mother-in-law acted like she was in charge, pointing at documents and explaining things. The men nodded and agreed. Suddenly, Alla Semyonovna turned toward the cafe window. Marina quickly hid behind a newspaper but realized she needed to leave before being noticed. She exited through the back and sat on a bench in a small park across the street. 20 minutes later, the three left the building. The men shook Alla Semyonovna's hand and went their separate ways. She walked to the bus stop, looking pleased, holding a folder of documents. Marina went home with heavy thoughts. Her mother-in-law had met with realtors and discussed documents. It probably wasn't about selling her own apartment. She wouldn't need other men for that. But if it wasn't her apartment, then whose? The answer seemed obvious, but Marina didn't want to believe it. That evening, she tried to ask Konstantin carefully. Kostya, is your mom planning to move or sell an apartment?
No.
Why? Just curious. Maybe she wants something smaller. Marina, why would she want smaller? She has a good, comfortable apartment. What strange thoughts. Konstantin was clearly nervous. He knew something. The next day, Marina went to the real estate agency. She pretended to be a potential buyer and asked to see 3-bedroom apartments in their area. The young realtor, the same one her mother-in-law had met, was happy to show her options. Here's a very interesting one, he said, flipping through a catalog. 3 bedrooms, good renovation, furniture stays. The owner is in a hurry to sell. Price is negotiable. He showed her photos. Marina nearly fell from her chair. It was her apartment, her living room, bedroom, kitchen. Can you tell me more about the owner? An elderly woman, pleasant, says she's moving to her children in another city. Apartment inherited. Documents are all in order. You can look at them if seriously interested. Yes, of course, Marina said. The realtor showed her copies of the documents. Marina saw a copy of the ownership certificate for her apartment. But the owner's name was listed as Alla Semyonovna Krasnova. Excuse me, isn't the owner's name Belikova? No, Krasnova. Why? No reason, the apartment just looked familiar. Marina realized the truth. Alla Semyonovna had somehow made herself the legal owner of Marina's apartment and was planning to sell it. When is the deal planned? Next week, if a buyer is found. The owner is in a hurry. Marina apologized and hurriedly left the agency. Her head was spinning. Her mother-in-law wasn't just stealing small things. She was planning a huge scam. But how did she forge the documents? And most importantly, did Konstantin know? Marina found the answer to the second question the next day, completely by accident. Leaving a supermarket, she ran into Dmitry Valerievich, her husband's former colleague. Marina, what a surprise.
How are you?
How's Kostya? Thanks, all good. Konstantin is working a lot. We barely see each other. Dmitry Valerievich raised his eyebrows in surprise. He's working? Where?
How? When?
I thought you knew. He was fired from your company 3 months ago. Marina felt the world spinning. Fired?
How? Yes.
There was a layoff. Kostya was the first to go. He was the last to be hired. I ran into him a week ago in the city. He said he was still looking for work. A week ago? Yes, near that real estate agency on the avenue. We talked briefly. He was in a hurry. Marina's heart skipped a beat. That was the same agency where her mother-in-law was selling her apartment. Did he mention who he was meeting? He said he was with his mom and some business partners. Something about real estate. Marina thanked him and went home in a daze. One thought kept repeating in her head. Konstantin has been unemployed for 3 months, yet every morning he pretends to go to work. On top of that, he meets with his mother and business partners at the real estate agency. It meant he knew about the scam, and more than that, he was part of it. At home, Marina tried to think logically. Konstantin hadn't worked for 3 months, yet the family budget hadn't suffered. He was still paying for groceries, utilities, and even bought a new TV recently. Where did the money come from? And her mother-in-law somehow got fake documents for the apartment. This wasn't just about stealing a ring. It was a serious scam involving forged documents. That required connections, money for bribes, and professional skills. A regular pensioner couldn't manage that. Someone else was behind it, the same unknown man the neighbor had seen. That evening, Konstantin came home at his usual time, kissed his wife, asked about her day, and talked about his stressful day at the office. Every word was a lie. Kostya, how's work? Any interesting projects? Yes, lots of work. A new client, very demanding. And my colleagues? Dmitry Valeryevich says hi. Konstantin froze, spoon halfway to his mouth. Dmitry Valeryevich? Where did he say hi from? I ran into him near the supermarket. He asked, how are you? Oh, what exactly did he ask? How's it going? How's work? Just usual, Konstantin said, clearly tense, but trying to stay calm. So, what did you answer? That you work a lot, get tired? He looked surprised. I thought you were still looking for a job, he said. Konstantin went pale. He said that?
Yes.
And he said he saw you a week ago near the real estate agency. Kostya, what are you not telling me? He put down his spoon and sighed heavily. Marish, I wanted to tell you myself. To tell me what? I was really fired 3 months ago. And you didn't tell me? I didn't want to upset you. I thought I'd find a new job quickly. And where are you getting money from? Mom is helping. Your mom's pension is 14,000 rubles. Where does she get money for our family? Konstantin stayed silent, staring at his plate. Kostya, I saw your mom meeting with realtors. I saw documents for selling our apartment, where she's listed as the owner. What's going on? He looked up. There wasn't guilt in his eyes. There was anger. You were spying on my mom. Answer the question. Marina, you don't understand. We have serious financial problems. I needed time to get back on my feet. What does that have to do with fake documents on my apartment? They're not fake. Mom just arranged them differently. Differently?
How?
Well, through some contacts. There are people who help in situations like this. Kostya, do you realize this is a criminal offense? Nothing criminal, just a temporary measure. We'll sell the apartment, pay the debts, and buy something smaller.
Whose debts?
What debts? Konstantin got up and started pacing the kitchen. I have debts, serious debts. To whom? It doesn't matter. What matters is they have to be paid. How much? A lot, he said. Kostya, I'm your wife. I have a right to know. 700,000, he blurted. Marina felt her legs weaken. 700,000? Where did that come from? I borrowed it to start a business. It didn't work out. What business? You're a programmer. I wanted to start my own company. Needed money for the start. I borrowed it from private lenders. Who exactly? Marina, it doesn't matter. The point is, the debt needs to be paid, and I don't have the money. That's why I decided to sell our apartment. Our apartment? We're a family. Families don't forge documents without the wife knowing. I wanted to tell you, but I was afraid you wouldn't understand. You were right to be afraid. I really don't understand how you can borrow money from shady people, lie to your wife, and forge documents. Konstantin stopped and looked at her with cold anger. So, what do you suggest? Should I wait until they kill me over the debt? Who's going to kill you?
What are you talking about? You don't understand. These are serious people.
They don't like jokes. Marina realized her husband had gotten involved with dangerous people, but that didn't excuse stealing or forging documents. Kostya, even if that's true, you can't make decisions like this without me. It's my apartment. It's not just yours. We're married. Everything is shared. We have a prenuptial agreement. The apartment belongs to me. I don't care about your contract. When life is at stake, papers don't matter. For the first time, Marina saw her husband as aggressive, cynical, and willing to do anything to save himself. Fine, she said calmly. Tomorrow I'm going to the bank to check all the accounts. If anything is wrong, I'm calling the police. Don't you dare. Yes, I will. And until you tell me everything honestly, you're sleeping on the couch. The next morning, Marina went to the bank where she had a deposit account. These were her savings, money she had carefully set aside over years for emergencies. The teller checked her account and told her the balance. Marina felt a chill. Instead of 450,000, there was only 200,000. How is this possible? I didn't withdraw any money. According to our system, the withdrawals were made in parts over the last 2 months. You submitted requests to withdraw. What requests? I didn't submit any. Wait, I'll check. Here is a request with your signature. The teller showed printed copies. Marina saw her signature on withdrawal forms. The signature looked very real, but she knew she hadn't signed anything. It's a forgery. I didn't sign these. I'm sorry, but the signature matches the sample we have on file. If you have a complaint, you need to file a report with the bank's security department. But who withdrew the money? You did. Or rather, someone pretending to be you. They presented your passport. My passport is with me. Marina reached into her bag, and it wasn't there. Her wallet still had her driver's license and health insurance card, but the passport was gone. When was the last time you saw it? About a week ago, when I bought medicine at the pharmacy. No, the passport must have been stolen earlier, probably while your mother-in-law was going through the apartment during your vacation. I want to file a fraud report, Marina said. Go to the police, and we'll do an internal investigation, the bank employee replied. At home, Marina searched the entire apartment for her passport, but couldn't find it. Then, in Kostia's closet, she found something that made her heart race even faster. Behind a stack of shirts was an envelope full of money, at least 100,000 rubles, and a note. For the documents, the rest after the deal. So Kostia had received money for the forged documents. He wasn't a victim, he was an active participant in the scam. Marina took a photo of the envelope and note, then carefully put everything back in place. That evening, she confronted her husband. Kostia, where's my passport? I don't know. When was the last time you saw it? In my purse. But today I noticed it's gone. Maybe you lost it or someone stole it, he shrugged. You know what else? The bank told me something interesting today. Someone withdrew money from my account using my passport. Kostia went pale. That's impossible. No, it's very possible. And guess what? The signature on the withdrawal forms looks almost exactly like mine. Someone is very good at forging documents. Marina, I don't know what you're talking about, he muttered. Also, I found an envelope in your closet with money and a note about the documents. Want to explain that? Kostia stayed silent, staring at the floor. Kostia, I understand everything. You and your mother organized a scam. You stole my passport, forged the documents for the apartment, withdrew money from my account. All for your debts. Marina, don't interrupt. The question is simple. Either you return all the money and documents right now, or tomorrow I go to the police. I can't return the money. It's already spent, he said. Part went to repay your debts, the rest for living expenses, he added. So you stole money from your own wife to live? I didn't steal, I borrowed, he protested. Without my knowledge, that's theft, Marina snapped. Suddenly, Kostia stood up and shouted. Enough! I'm tired of your moralizing. Money is money. It doesn't matter whose it is, even my wife's. Family has to help each other first. Honesty? That's a luxury I can't afford. Marina looked at him and realized, this is the end. This was not the man she married 12 years ago. This was a liar, a thief, and a fraudster, willing to rob his own wife to save himself. Kostia, you have 24 hours to return my passport and cancel all the apartment deals, or I'm going to the police. And if I don't, then you'll go to jail for fraud, along with your mother. You won't dare. Oh, I will. I already have all the evidence. Kostia looked at her with pure hatred. You know what, Marina? Do whatever you want. I'm done pretending to be a loving husband just for your money. So, you are really pretending? She asked. And what did you think? 12 years with a boring wife, just for the apartment and savings. Those words hit Marina harder than anything before. She realized she had spent her marriage with a man who never loved her. All this time, he was just waiting for the moment he could take her property. Get out, she said quietly. What? Get out of my home.
Right now.
And yes, it's my home, she added firmly. The documents prove it. Leave, before I change my mind about going to the police. Kostya packed his things and left, slamming the door behind him. Marina was alone in the apartment, the home she had almost lost because of greed and betrayal by the people closest to her. She knew divorce, court battles, and legal disputes were ahead. She would have to prove the fraud, recover the stolen money, and restore the documents. But most importantly, she finally understood. She would never let anyone manipulate her again. Her time of trust was over. Now it was time for justice. After Kostya left, Marina spent a sleepless night thinking through everything. The next morning, she went to the police station to file a report about the stolen passport and the fraud. The officer listened carefully and promised to investigate. Just know, he warned, proving fraud will be difficult. You need strong evidence. I have a note about the money for the documents, a bank witness, and testimony from a neighbor, Marina said. That might not be enough. Try to find more evidence, he advised. On her way home, Marina thought about what else she could collect. She needed to understand the full scheme of the scam to have undeniable proof. At home, she found a surprise in her mailbox, an envelope with no return address. Inside was a copy of a medical certificate in her name, claiming she had paranoid personality disorder, signed by psychiatrist Volkov. AP Marina read it twice, unable to believe her eyes. According to the certificate, she had been registered at a psychiatric clinic for 6 months. It listed symptoms of persecution delusions, aggressive behavior, and overreactions to criticism. The signature and stamp looked official. A forged medical certificate. This was an entirely new level of fraud. Someone was preparing documents to declare her legally incompetent. Marina immediately called the psychiatric clinic. Excuse me, do you have a record for Marina Belikova? Wait, let me check. No, we don't have a patient by that name. And does Dr. Volkov AP work there? Andrei Petrovich Volkov? Yes, he's one of our top specialists. Can I speak with him? A few minutes later, a man's voice answered the phone. Dr. Volkov, good afternoon. My name is Marina Belikova. I have a question about a medical certificate supposedly issued by you in my name. I'm sorry, but I didn't issue such a certificate. What's going on? Someone forged a document with your signature. I have a copy. That's serious. Forging medical documents is a criminal offense. Go to the police and bring the certificate to me for examination. Marina thanked the doctor and thought about who could have forged the certificate. Clearly, it wasn't Alice Semyonovna. She didn't have the means. So it must be that mysterious man from the real estate agency. But why would anyone need a fake certificate saying she had a mental illness? The answer came that evening while Marina was searching online. She learned that being declared legally incompetent due to mental illness allows relatives to gain guardianship and control over the person's property. The plan became clear. First, declare Marina incompetent using the forged certificate. Then get guardianship for Kostya or her mother-in-law, and finally sell the apartment and take the money. It was a clever scheme, if Marina hadn't discovered it in time. The next day, she decided to visit the real estate agency pretending to be a potential buyer. She needed to find out exactly when the sale was planned. The realtor greeted her warmly. Oh, you're back about that 3-room apartment?
Yes.
I wanted to check the details and see when I could view it. Unfortunately, the owner has temporarily postponed the sale. There are some problems with the documents. What kind of problems? Well, sometimes relatives try to challenge the ownership rights and stop the sale. And when will this be resolved? Next week. It should be settled. The owner says she will soon get additional documents to confirm her rights. Marina understood immediately. The additional documents meant the fake certificate declaring her legally incompetent and the court decision granting guardianship. And which relatives are causing the problem? The daughter of the owner, a young woman, they say she has mental health issues, is trying to stop her mother from handling her own property. Marina had to fight to keep from laughing. Alice Semyonovna was already spreading the story that Marina was her crazy daughter. And what if the daughter doesn't agree? The owner will go to court. She has medical certificates about the daughter's condition. The court will limit her legal rights, and then the sale can go ahead. The guardian will get full control over the property. Marina thanked the realtor and left. Now, everything was clear. Next week, documents would be filed to declare her legally incompetent. If the court sided with Alla Semyonovna, the apartment could be sold within a few days. She had to act fast. At home, Marina made a detailed plan to fight back. Tomorrow morning, go to the local police officer with new evidence. Then see the psychiatrist to officially refute the fake certificate. After that, consult a lawyer to protect her rights. But first, she needed to check one hunch. Marina remembered the emergency stash she had hidden in the old china set on the top shelf. It contained 100,000 rubles in large bills for just such a situation. Even Konstantin didn't know about it. She put a stool in place, lifted the box with the china set, and opened the lid. The stash was still there. No one had found it yet. But if the fraudsters' plans were this big, sooner or later they would search the entire apartment for valuables. Marina decided to move the money to a safer place, a bank safe deposit box. The next morning, Marina was about to leave the house when she heard a key turn in the lock.
Her heart jumped.
Konstantin was back, but it wasn't him who entered. Alla Semyonovna came in carrying a large bag. "Marinka," she exclaimed, pretending to be surprised. "You're home? I thought you were at work." "I have a day off. But how do you have the keys?" "I took them. Konstantin gave me a spare." "I didn't know you were home," her mother-in-law said. Alla Semyonovna went into the kitchen, set the bag on the table, and started taking out groceries. "Konstantin called me," she said. "He told me you two had a little argument. I thought I'd come by, maybe help you make up." "We don't need making up, and we don't need groceries either," Marina said. "Oh, come on, Marinka, don't be angry. Konstantin is a good boy, he just got a little confused. Men don't know how to handle problems sometimes." Her voice was soft, but Marina saw the cold, calculating look in her eyes. "Alla Semyonovna, let's be direct," Marina said firmly. "I know about the fake documents for the apartment, the certificate about my mental health, and your guardianship plans." Alla Semyonovna's face didn't change. "What are you talking about, dear? What documents?" "Don't pretend. I know everything." "Marisha, you don't look well. Maybe you should see a doctor. You're saying strange things," her mother-in-law said. "The doctor already confirmed the certificate is fake," Marina replied. "What certificate?" "You're scaring me," Alla Semyonovna said, still pretending ignorance. Marina could see her calculating her next move. "Fine," Marina said. "Since you deny everything, let's just have some tea and then part ways." "Of course, dear. I even brought some pies," her mother-in-law said, taking a box of pastries from the bag and setting it on the table. Marina watched her carefully, not taking her eyes off her. "Marinka, where's the sugar?" Alla Semyonovna asked. "In the cupboard, on the second shelf," Marina replied. Alla Semyonovna opened the cupboard and began rummaging, clearly inspecting everything. "And the salt is there too," Marina said. But Alla Semyonovna kept searching, moving jars around, inspecting every shelf, looking behind the containers. "Need some help?" Marina offered. No, I'll find it myself," her mother-in-law said. But she didn't hurry to find the salt. She methodically searched every shelf. Marina realized the truth. Alla Semyonovna was looking for her hidden stash. She knew it existed. But where did she get the idea? The only person who could have told her about the stash was Konstantin, but did he know or not? Marina remembered. A few months ago, she had taken money from her hidden stash while her husband was there. She needed to pay for car repairs, and her card didn't have enough money. Konstantin had been surprised to see her with cash, and she explained about the stash. So he knew, and must have told his mother. "Alla Semyonovna, what are you looking for?" Marina asked. "Oh, I just can't find the salt," her mother-in-law said. "It's in the salt shaker on the table." Alla Semyonovna turned and saw the shaker right in front of her. "Oh yes, I've gotten so old, I can't see anything," she said. She closed the cupboard but kept scanning the kitchen, still searching. "Marisha, may I have some water?" she asked. "Of course, the glasses are in the cupboard above the sink." She opened the cupboard and started rifling through the dishes, looking into every pot and bowl. All the glasses are dirty. Where are the clean ones? In the dishwasher. And the towel? In the drawer under the sink. Alice Semyonovna opened the drawer and started rummaging through it, pulling out cloths and cleaning supplies. Marina waited patiently. Let her look. She still wouldn't find the stash. The money was on the top shelf, out of reach without a stool. But Alice Semyonovna was persistent. She slowly and methodically searched the kitchen, then moved into the living room. "Oh, what a mess you have," she said, opening drawers of the sideboard. "Do you want me to help tidy up?" "No, thank you." "Oh, come on, it won't take long." Her mother-in-law started moving things around in the drawers, clearly searching for something valuable. Marina decided to stop pretending. "Alice Semyonovna, if you're looking for money, just say so." "What money? What are you talking about?" "The stash. Konstantin must have told you about it." "Marisha, you're acting strange. Maybe you should lie down a bit." "I feel fine." "But you're acting like a thief." Alice Semyonovna's face darkened. "How dare you?" she hissed. "Very simply. You came into someone else's apartment and are rifling through their things without permission." "I'm just helping tidy up," she said. "No one asked you to help." Alice Semyonovna straightened up and looked at Marina with obvious hostility. "You know what, dear? I'm tired of pretending. Finally, honesty," Marina thought. "Yes, I'm looking for the money, and I will find it because soon this apartment will belong to me." "Why would that be?" "Because you're sick. I have the certificates and witnesses. The court will declare you incapable, and I'll become your guardian. The certificates are fake. Prove it. Until you do, I have the right to take care of my sick future daughter-in-law." Alice Semyonovna no longer hid her intentions. She openly searched the rooms, turning everything upside down. "Where's the money?" she demanded. "What money?" "Don't play dumb. Konstantin told me about the stash." "Where is it?" "There's no stash." "You're lying. He remembers exactly how you took money from there." Her mother-in-law moved into the bedroom and started searching the closets. She pulled out clothes, checked pockets, and looked inside bags. Marina followed her, watching the mess unfold. "Alice Semyonovna, stop this immediately." "I won't stop until I find it. Then I'll call the police." "Go ahead. I'll tell them you're sick and not responsible for your actions." She moved into the room Marina used as an office. There, she methodically searched the desk, pulling out drawers and flipping through papers. "You've turned my home into a mess," Marina shouted. "After we sell the apartment, we'll clean up," her mother-in-law said. "No one is selling anything." "Yes, we will, as soon as I become your guardian." She finished with the desk and looked around the room. Her eyes landed on the top shelves. "What's up there?" she asked, pointing. "Old stuff," Marina said. "Let's see." Alice Semyonovna brought a stool from the kitchen and climbed up to the shelves. Marina realized the game was over. Her mother-in-law was about to find the stash. And she did. A few minutes later, Alice Semyonovna came down holding the box from the china set. "Let's see what we have here." She opened the box and saw the money. Her eyes lit up with greed. "Here's the stash. 100,000 rubles. That's my money," Marina shouted. "Now it's mine," her mother-in-law said calmly, slipping the bills into her bag. At that moment, Konstantin walked into the apartment. He saw the chaos and his mother holding the money. "Mom, did you find it?" he asked. "Yes, son. Just like you said." Marina looked at her husband with disgust. "So you brought her here and gave her new keys." "Marisha, we need the money. Now." "This is my stash." "Our stash. We're family." "We're not a family anymore." Alice Semyonovna put the money in her bag and headed for the door. "Come on, Konstantin. There's nothing left to do here." Marina blocked their way. "Give back the money." "What money?" her mother-in-law asked innocently. "I didn't take anything." "I saw you hiding it," Marina shot back. "You're imagining things, dear." "You're sick," said Alice Semyonovna. "Well, then get out of here, or I'll break your legs and make you run." Marina shouted when she caught her mother-in-law stealing her stash. Her unemployed husband thought she was joking, but she surprised them both. Konstantin laughed. Marisha, why are you shouting? Calm down. I won't calm down. They stole my stash. No one stole anything. Marina ran to the kitchen and grabbed an old, heavy cast-iron pan from her grandmother. Now I'll show you who's really crazy, she yelled, swinging the pan. Alice Semyonovna turned pale and stepped back toward the door. Kostya, she's really crazy, he said. I'll show you just how crazy. Marina advanced toward them, pan in hand. Give back the money, or you'll lose some teeth. Konstantin grabbed his mother's hand. Mom, let's run. They rushed to the door, but Marina was faster. She caught up to them in the hallway and raised the pan. Alice Semyonovna screamed and dashed out the door. Kostya, help. She's going to kill me. I sure will. Marina yelled, chasing them down the stairs. Thieves need to be punished. Mother and son barreled down the stairs, missing steps. Konstantin slipped and almost fell, clutching the railing. Alice Semyonovna ran ahead, wheezing and gasping. Stop, thieves. Marina shouted, swinging the pan. Give back the stash. They ran out to the street and kept going. Marina followed, ignoring the shocked stares of passers-by. Help! Alice Semyonovna screamed. The crazy woman's going to kill us. Give back the money. Marina called. I won't kill you, she added. They finally reached the bus stop and looked back. Marina was only a few meters away, breathing hard, holding the pan. Give back the stash, she demanded. What stash? Alice Semyonovna was still pretending innocence. I don't have anything. Then keep running, Marina said, stepping forward. They bolted again, and that's when Marina noticed they were barefoot. In their hurry, they had forgotten their shoes. Konstantin ran in socks, and Alice Semyonovna in nylon tights, splashing through puddles and mud on the asphalt. Marina stopped and burst out laughing. The scene was so ridiculous that Marina's anger turned into laughter. When she went back into the apartment, she saw the mess, but also found something important. In their rush, her mother-in-law had dropped a folder with documents. Marina picked it up and opened it. Inside was a complete plan for the scam. There were documents showing how they planned to take guardianship, copies of fake medical certificates, contact information for accomplices, and even a draft sales contract for the apartment. Among the papers was also a receipt from Konstantin, showing he had received 50,000 rubles for preparing the documents and giving access to the property. The property was Marina herself. The folder even had a map of the apartment with marks showing where valuables might be hidden. Konstantin had drawn the plan for his mother, marking cabinets, drawers, and possible secret spots. In the corner of the page, he wrote, "Stash on the top shelves in the tea-set box." Everything had been planned in advance. He had sold her belongings for 50,000 rubles. Marina photographed all the documents and called the local police officer. I have proof of fraud, a complete plan of the scam. Please come and investigate. Within an hour, police officers were in the apartment. They took the documents as evidence and made an official report. This is enough to open a criminal case, said the investigator. Large-scale fraud, document forgery, theft. Your husband and mother-in-law will be wanted. What about my money? Marina asked. It will be taken as evidence. You'll get it back after the trial. That evening, Marina got a message from Konstantin. Marish, let's settle this. Return the money. Forget everything. She replied briefly. Too late. The police are involved. An hour later, another message arrived. You ruined everything. We could have solved this quietly. Quietly would have meant not stealing from your wife, Marina wrote, and blocked his number. The next day, she filed for divorce, citing marital fraud and theft as the reason. A week later, Konstantin and Alice Semyonovna were arrested. They had tried to hide in another city, but the police tracked them using their bank cards. At the trial, new details about the scam came to light. It turned out this was already her mother-in-law's third scam. Before, she had stolen from 2 other women, setting up fake marriages for her accomplices. Konstantin wasn't even her real son. She didn't have a real son at all. Alla Semyonovna picked young men without documents or registration, created fake birth certificates for them, and then used them in her scams. For 12 years, Marina had lived with a professional con artist without even knowing it. "Why did you choose me?" Marina asked Konstantin at the trial. "You were convenient," he said calmly. "Alone, trusting, with a good income, and an apartment. The perfect victim. And you waited 12 years for the right moment? Not waited, prepared. Watched your habits, your social circle, your finances. When we saw your savings were enough, we started the plan." Marina listened in disbelief. Her marriage had been part of a long-term scam. Her feelings, her love, it had all been fake. "Everything," Konstantin confirmed indifferently. "Work is work." The court sentenced Alla Semyonovna to several years in prison and Konstantin to 5 years. The stolen money was returned to Marina, but no one could compensate her for the emotional pain. After the trial, Marina sold the apartment. Too many painful memories were tied to it. She bought a small apartment in another neighborhood and started fresh. The divorce was finalized quickly. Konstantin didn't resist. There was no property division since the entire marriage had been fake. Marina changed her last name back to her maiden name, Petrova, wanting to distance herself from the past. At first, her colleagues felt sorry for her and tried to introduce her to good men, but Marina politely refused. Her trust in people had been shattered. The thought of new relationships made her feel sick. 6 months after the trial, she met her neighbor Vera Ivanovna on the street. "Marina, how are you? I heard you moved."
Yes.
"I wanted a change of scenery." "You did the right thing. After such a nightmare, it's better to start over." "How's your health?" "My nerves are holding up," Marina replied. "And are you thinking about getting married again?" "No, I'm not." "Oh, come on. You'll meet a good person someday." "Vera Ivanovna, I already met a good person," Marina said. "I lived with him for 12 years. It turns out good people can be really good at pretending," she added. "Well, not everyone is like that," her neighbor replied. "Maybe, but I don't want to take that risk again," Marina thought. Vera Ivanovna sighed and walked away. Marina realized she was telling the truth. Taking the risk of trusting someone again didn't seem worth it. A year passed. Marina got used to being alone and even began to enjoy it. No one lied, no one stole, no one was plotting against her. Quiet and peace became her best friends. At work, she got a promotion. The management appreciated her responsibility and professionalism. Her salary increased and new opportunities opened up. "Marina Vladimirovna," the director said in a meeting, "we are considering you for the position of deputy department head. Do you agree?" "Of course." "Thank you for your trust," she replied.
Great.
"But keep in mind, it comes with more work and responsibility," he warned. "I'm not afraid," she said, and she really wasn't. Work kept her mind off dark thoughts and gave her a sense of purpose. In the evenings, Marina read, watched movies, and learned to cook new dishes. Life settled down, but there was no joy, only calm. Sometimes she caught herself being too suspicious. At the store, she watched the cashier carefully. At home, she checked the locks 3 times and never invited anyone over. Trust in people had almost completely disappeared. She only trusted colleagues at work, kept neighbors at a distance, and avoided male attention like fire. One day, on the bus, an older man offered her his seat. Marina instinctively refused, thinking, "What does he want from me?" Then she realized, nothing, he's just being polite. But her mind had already trained itself to look for danger in every act of human kindness. The psychologist she saw in the first months after the divorce had told her, "Marina, you have to learn to trust people again, or you'll stay isolated forever." And what's wrong with being isolated? No one cheats me, but no one loves me either. Humans can't live without emotional connections, though, and Marina was slowly realizing that. Maybe I'm just existing, not really living. Maybe the psychologist was right, but Marina wasn't ready to trust anyone yet. A year and a half later, she got a letter from a lawyer. Konstantin was appealing, trying to reduce his sentence. He asked Marina to give a statement to help him. She wrote a short reply. "I refuse. The lawyer can call me personally." Marina Vladimirovna, your ex-husband is truly sorry. He wants to make amends. He's willing to pay moral compensation. I don't want anything from him. Think about it. This is a chance to close this chapter. I already did, Marina wrote. On the same day she filed her police report, the appeal was rejected. Konstantin served his full sentence. Alla Semyonovna tried to send letters from prison, asking for forgiveness, swearing she was sorry, promising to return everything she stole. Marina threw the letters away, without reading them. In her second year of living alone, something happened that made Marina think. A young woman lived in the apartment next door with a small child. She had no husband, and her relatives lived far away. Marina sometimes heard the baby crying and the mother trying to calm him down. One evening, the crying went on for hours. Marina was first annoyed, then worried. She decided to knock on the door. A pale woman with tear-streaked eyes opened it. "Sorry for the noise," she said. "The baby is sick. He has a high fever." "Did you call a doctor?" "I did. He hasn't come yet. They promised by morning." "By morning? What if he gets worse?" "I don't know." She looked completely lost. Marina saw how scared the woman was. She needed help, but helping meant letting strangers into her life. "Maybe we should go to the hospital?" Marina suggested. "We don't have money for a taxi, and they won't send an ambulance." "I'll take you," Marina said. The words came out before she could think. Marina was surprised she even said it. "Really, you agree?" "Yes, of course. Let's go." They went to the children's hospital. The baby was checked, treatment was given, and his fever started to go down. "Thank you so much," the neighbor said in the car. "I don't know what I would have done without you." "Anyone could have helped," Marina said. "Not everyone. Many people avoid getting involved in other people's problems." Marina thought about that. She could have ignored it too, but she didn't. At home, she thought long about why she had helped a stranger. Was it compassion, humanity, or just instinct? Probably, her humanity hadn't completely died. Deep inside, she still had the ability to care. A week later, the neighbor brought homemade cookies as thanks. "And I wanted to ask," she said, "maybe we could have tea together sometimes? It's lonely alone." Marina almost said no, but remembered the psychologist's words about isolation. "Let's try," she said. She finally had a friend, her first in a long time. They really did have tea, talked about work, children, life, ordinary women's conversations Marina had missed. "I had a bad marriage too," the neighbor Lena shared. "My husband drank, was violent. I left when my baby was 6 months old." "And you don't regret it?"
No.
"Better alone than with someone who hurts you." "Will you marry again?" "I don't know. Not until I meet someone I can trust." "And you?" "I'll never marry again. Never. It's been long enough already." Lena didn't argue, and Marina was grateful. She was tired of people insisting she needed a personal life. Another 6 months passed. Life was steady and predictable: work, home, rare visits with Lena, weekends in nature. Marina learned to enjoy small things: morning coffee, a good book, a beautiful sunset. No big emotions, but also no big disappointments. One evening at a work party, a colleague, Andrei, approached her. "Marina Vladimirovna, may I invite you to dance?" "No, I don't dance." "Not at all." "Not at all." "Why?" "Just don't." Andrei was smart, polite, funny, but Marina automatically kept any closeness at a distance. "Maybe at least we can talk?" he asked. "About what?" "Work, life, anything."
"Better work," she said.
And they only talked about work. Other topics could lead to personal connection, and connection could lead to disappointment. The circle closed. That evening on the way home, Marina realized she had become a fortress, strong, safe, and completely alone. Maybe this was her new life. No betrayals, but no love. No pain, but no joy. The price of safety was high, but she was ready to pay it for life. The alternative, trusting again, risking again, seemed scarier than loneliness. Marina Petrova, 38, deputy department head, owner of a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. Successful, independent, completely alone. By her own choice, that was who she remained. Years passed. Marina's life remained quiet, but steady. She focused on work, her small apartment, and simple pleasures. Morning coffee on the balcony, books that made her laugh or think, walks in the park. She never remarried and rarely socialized beyond friendly chats with neighbors. But she had peace, and that was enough. Sometimes, she thought about what might have been if she had trusted differently, if she had given love another chance. But the memory of betrayal and deceit was too strong, and she knew her caution had kept her safe. She no longer felt loneliness as sharply. It was simply part of her life, like a soft shadow that never fully disappeared. One rainy afternoon, Marina was walking home from work when she saw a small stray dog shivering under a bench. Without thinking, she picked it up and brought it home. She fed it, warmed it, and named it Sunny. The little dog didn't demand trust or words, just companionship. In caring for Sunny, Marina felt a tiny spark of the connection she had shut away for so long. Over time, Marina allowed herself small risks, helping neighbors, visiting her friend Lena, even laughing at life's little absurdities. She realized that opening just a little to the world didn't mean losing control or safety. She didn't need grand love or excitement. She needed honesty, kindness, and quiet moments of joy. On her 45th birthday, Marina stood on her balcony watching the sunset, Sunny curled up at her feet. The city lights blinked on one by one, and she smiled to herself. Life had not gone as she had dreamed, but she had survived. She had won her freedom, her autonomy, and a sense of inner strength she had never known before. Marina Petrova had learned the hardest lesson: trust cautiously, protect yourself fiercely, but never forget the small acts of humanity that make life bearable. And in that quiet, careful life, she finally felt a kind of happiness, not loud or passionate, but real, lasting, and entirely her own. The past had hurt her, but it had not destroyed her. And that was enough.